Only 7 states permit students to bring guns onto public universities. Florida is one of 20 that ban it, but a bill in the state legislature aims to change that. Florida State University Police Chief David Perry disagrees.
That it would have exacerbated and made our situation even worse.
Why?
To have 2 or 3 or more people with weapons yelling commands, people firing rounds that can't be accounted for, that's just not a good mix.
It truly depends on your personal perspective. Guns are either a necessary part of life here in America, or they are the reason why we are so afraid and so bloodthirsty at times. The cranking up on a new presidential election cycle means guns and gun control are going to be top issues. But perhaps there needs to be a change in the way we think of such weapons, and consider making them more of a health issue than one of carry or not to carry. Our guest is Director of the Division of Medical Ethics at the New York University Langone Medical Center. Dr. Arthur Caplan joins us. Dr. Caplan, good to see you again.
Thanks for having me.
Dr. Caplan, this really isn't anything new, but it's come up again because back in April of last year, the American College of Physicians wanted doctors to take action against the 32,000 deaths and 74,000 injuries caused by guns in the United States each year. There was a huge pushback against it at that time. Has this gone anywhere, in your opinion, as far as making it more of a potential, at least, for doctors to address?
Well, it has, because just last week in the very prestigious New England Journal of Medicine, 9 of the major American medical specialties, surgeons, pediatricians, lined up with the American Bar Association and said, we got to do this again. Guns are a safety issue, and they're causing a lot of death by suicide and accident, even by crime, with innocent people getting hurt. And you don't have to get into the Second Amendment right, and you don't have to try and take people's guns away to get more gun safety in front of the American people.
Well, then who's fighting this, Doctor? Is this the NRA? Is this lobbyists? Where is this?
The battle is the NRA. The NRA basically thinks if you give an inch, you're going to lose your right to have a gun. And I don't think that's true. I think we're well past any real discussion in the United States about taking away anybody's right to own a gun. It's not going to happen politically. What we can do, though, is say, look, we got kids who pick up guns and kill others, kill their parents, kill themselves, not intending to, little kids. We've got kids who need information about what to do if they see a gun or find a gun in the playground or out in the street. In fact, there has been some effort by the NRA to promote some gun safety, but they seem to get very nervous when doctors start to talk about doing it as well.
All right, now let's stop there for a second. Let's just throw some numbers out here. 88 gun deaths per day. That's according to Molly Cook, the president of the American College of Physicians. It is a good-sized airplane crash every day. 3 U.S. cities show that for every time, and let me make sure I get this right, for every time a gun is used for self-defense, there are 4 accidental shootings, 7 criminal assaults or homicides, and 11 attempted or completed suicides. In 12 states and the District of Columbia, firearm-related deaths exceed deaths from car accidents. The numbers would seem to be here, and this would seem to be an issue. So quite frankly, Doctor, what's the NRA afraid of here?
It's the, if we open the door to this at all, then through the door are going to come all the anti-gun folks, and we're going to lose our rights. It's just not sensible. Gun owners, as well as people who don't like guns, can all be in favor of gun safety. And look, what we're talking about here is having the doctor ask somebody, do you store, if you have guns in the house, do you store the ammo separate from the weapons? Do you lock them up? Do your kids know what to do with guns? Are they familiar with gun safety? You basically have some pretty basic information. You don't have to be a big expert on guns, but you want to stress it with people, just like we do all kinds of other health information.
Well, see, that's it, and I want to get to health information here, because why then should people, because apparently what you're talking about is doctors talking to patients. If they have guns in the home, if they have kids, adolescents, people with dementia, the mentally ill, you just talking to people about that. Are people offended when you go to them? If you were to go to them and ask them about that?
They are. They're afraid of it. And I think, that, look, the medical groups also came out and said we need to have tougher screening. If there are mentally ill people who can get guns easily without sufficient background checks, then that just doesn't make sense. I agree with that. So the NRA doesn't like background checks. They don't like anything having to do with guns.
So you're not looking to take people's guns. Well, let's make it very clear right now. From your perspective and your opinion, you're not looking to take people's guns away, right?
I am not. I think that there is a legitimate case for people to own guns if they want to own guns. The trick is to turn the ownership of guns into the safe ownership of guns and stop letting kids and people who are mentally ill get access to them.
Okay, now let me ask you then your opinion what's happening in Florida. There's a theme park that recently opened called Machine Gun America. Kids as young as 13 with their parents there can shoot military-grade firearms at custom targets, simulated experiences, no prior experience required. Good or bad thing?
I hope they have a lot of insurance. Somebody's going to get hurt there. Somebody might turn that weapon on somebody else. I wouldn't open a amusement park and say, all comers, here you go. Here's high-powered weapons. I certainly wouldn't go there. I wouldn't let my teenagers go there. Too dangerous. So I think it's a horrible idea.
Is this just feeding into a, and I'm having a difficult time finding it, because a need to, boy, for lack of a better phraseology, the macho culture here, and we just want to have our kids go out and fire some guns? What is it that drives this? Because it would seem to be that it does create a potential, at least, for a health issue in the home.
Well, I think a lot of Americans are afraid. They look out, they see things like ISIS going on. They worry that there are all kinds of evil forces out there. And I think some of them want to arm not so much against the crook or the bad guy who might break into the house, but literally have weapons available in case we get into some sort of world war cataclysmic event. Whether that makes any sense, we can argue another day. What does make sense is to say, if you're going to have weapons in your home, you have to handle them safely, and you need to be reminded to do that. And the person to do it is a doctor, or for that matter, a school nurse.
I got about 30 seconds left here. What's your take on that whole story about the potential of arming college students?
Well, again, I think the idea is if you have someone who's armed and somebody shows up and starts shooting a gun, you'll be better able to protect yourself. I don't buy it. I think you need to have a good security team on a college campus. Arming students in the classroom, classrooms get pretty heated, tempers flare. I don't think that's the way to handle that form of security. Let's beef up campus police.
I would tend to agree with you on that, and having been around a number of colleges in my lifetime, I can only imagine what will happen with some of the people that I saw there putting a gun in their hand, which would not be the best idea of them all. Dr. Arthur Caplan, always a fascinating conversation with you. Let's keep following this story, and let's see what happens if doctors can indeed help their patients along this way. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, take care. The bottom falls out of a major home improvement company following one story about where and how their products are made. The stock market did not react very favorably to a report on 60 Minutes from Sunday night. Bulls, Bears, and Bucks are on deck when we continue right here on the Monday Call for MidPoint.